and I want to turn it over to John. Secretary King, thank you, Arn, for very kind words. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to serve and for the faith. That you've placed in me and the team that we have at the department. I'm deeply honored by the chance to serve and also deeply humbled by following in Arnie's footsteps. Arn is an extraordinary leader who I have watched demonstrate tremendous courage in fighting for kids. And fighting for what's best for kids, but also he's been willing to listen to folks and to make adjustments. And to make sure that everything we do every day is towards the goal of greater equity. Mr. President, you and Arn and our team at the department have laid out an ambitious agenda from strengthening early childhood education and expanding access to early childhood. To raising standards for teaching and learning in K through 12, to ensuring that more Americans have access to high-quality higher education. To ensuring that we support our teachers and that we invest in our teachers and provide the best preparation and support and leadership opportunities for them. It's an incredible agenda. And I'm proud to be able to carry it forward with the amazing team that we have at the department. Earlier this week, Arn gave a speech at the National Press Club, and in that speech, Arn said education can be the difference between life and death. And I know that's true because it was for me. I grew up in Brooklyn. I lost my mom when I was 8. My dad when I was 12. My dad was very sick before he passed. I moved around between family members and schools. But teachers, New York City public school teachers, are the reason that I am alive. They are the reason that I became a teacher. They are the reason I am standing here today. Those teachers created amazing educational experiences. But also gave me hope about what is possible, what could be possible for me in life. I know schools can't do it alone. There's work we have to do on economic development and housing and healthcare. But I know that my parents who spent their lives as New York City public school educators, believed that school was at the heart of our promise of equality of opportunity for all Americans. That's what they believed. That's what the president believes. That's what Arn believes. And that's what I feel very privileged to be able to work on with this amazing team we have at the department. Every child in the United States, every college student, every disconnected youth. Every working parent who just wants a few more credits in order to improve their salary and position at their job. Everyone deserves the kind of opportunity that I had to have a great education. Every child deserves the kind of opportunity that my beautiful daughters, Amina and Mireya, have to have a great education, the kind of education their grandparents worked to provide. I'm so grateful to my very supportive wife, Melissa. So grateful to the secretary for the opportunity he gave me to join his team. And incredibly grateful to the president for the opportunity to work with a Wonderful group of people at the education department to try to expand opportunity. Thank you. President Obama, thank you. Two good men, doing really important work. So I'm lucky to have them, both as colleagues and as friends. And I'm looking forward to seeing even more work done in the next few months. We've got some other business to attend to. So all of you who are here to celebrate Arne and John, you're lucky enough now to have to sit through a little bit of a press conference with me. So make yourselves comfortable. I warned the kids ahead of time. I said, try not to look completely bored. I'm going to take a couple of questions from the press. But first, a few additional pieces of business. First of all, we learned today that our businesses created another 118,000 new jobs in September. Which means that we now have had 67 straight months of job creation. $13.2 million new jobs in all and an unemployment rate that has fallen from a high of 10% down to 5.1%. These long-term trends are obviously good news. Particularly for every American waking up each morning and heading off to a new job. But we would be doing even better if we didn't have to keep on dealing with unnecessary crises in Congress every few months. And this is especially important right now, because although the American economy has been chugging along at a steady pace, much of the global economy is softening. We've seen an impact on our exports. Which was a major driver of growth for us, particularly at the beginning of the recovery. And so our own growth could slow if Congress does not do away with some of the counterproductive. Austerity measures that they have put in place, and if Congress does not avoid the kind of manufactured crises that shatter consumer confidence and could disrupt an already skittish global economy. On Wednesday, more than half of Republicans voted to shut down the government for the second time in 2 years. The good news is that there were enough votes in both parties to pass a last-minute bill to keep the government open and operating for another 10 weeks before we can get a more long-term solution. But keep in mind that gimmick only sets up another potential manufactured crisis just 2 weeks before Christmas. And I've said this before, I want to repeat it: this is not the way the United States should be operating. Oftentimes I hear from folks up on Capitol Hill. The need for American leadership, the need for America to be number one. Well, you know what, around the globe, part of what makes us a leader is when we govern effectively and we keep our own house in order. And we pass budgets, and we can engage in long-term planning. And we can invest in the things that are important for the future. That's U.S. leadership. When we fail to do that, we diminish you. S leadership. It's not how we are supposed to operate. And we can't just keep on kicking down the road without solving. Any problems or doing any long-term planning for the future. That's true for our military. That's true for our domestic programs. The American people, American families deserve better. And we can grow faster and the economy can improve if Congress acts with dispatch. It will get worse if they don't. That's why I want to be very clear. I will not sign another short-sighted spending bill like the one Congress sent me this week. We purchased ourselves 10 additional weeks, we need to use them effectively. Keep in mind that a few years ago, both parties put in place harmful automatic cuts that make no distinction between spending we don't need and spending we do. We can revisit the history of how that happened. I have some rather grim memories of it. But the notion was that even as we were bringing down the deficit, we would come up with a sustainable smart, long-term approach to investing in the things that we need. That didn't happen. And so now these cuts that have been maintained have been keeping our economy from growing faster. It's time to undo them. If we don't, then we will have to fund our economic and national security priorities in 2016 at the same levels that we did in 2006. Now, understand, during that decade, between 2006 and 2016, our economy has grown by 12%. Our population has grown by 8%. New threats have emerged, new opportunities have appeared. We can't fund our country the way we did 10 years ago because we have greater demands with an aging population. With kids who need schools. With roads that need to be fixed, with a military on which we are placing extraordinary demands. And we can't cut our way to prosperity. Other countries have tried it and it has not worked. We've grown faster than they have because we did not pursue these blind. Unthinking cuts to necessary investments for our growth. And by the way, because we've grown faster than them, we've brought our deficits down faster than they have. I want to repeat this because the public apparently never believes it. Since I took office, we've cut our deficits by 2/3. The deficit has not been going up, it has been coming down precipitously. We've cut our deficits by 2/3. They're below the average deficits over the past 40 years. So the bottom line is, Congress has to do its job. It can't flirt with another shutdown. It should pass a serious budget. And if they do, and get rid of some of these mindless cuts, even as we're still prudent about maintaining the spending. That we need but not spending we don't need and is not working. Their own nonpartisan budget office estimates we're going to add an extra 500,000 jobs to our economy next year alone. We can immediately put 500,000 more people back to work if we just have a more sensible budget. And in these negotiations, nobody is going to get everything they want. We have to work together, though, even if we disagree, in order to do the people's business. At some point we have to want to govern, and not just play politics or play to various political bases. At some point, we need to pass bills so that we can rebuild our roads, and keep our kids learning. And our military strong, and help people prepare for and recover from disasters. That is. Congress's most basic job. That's what our government is supposed to do: serve the American people.